From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, February the 13th, 2023. A 17-year-old Israeli boy was injured lightly in a stabbing today. Israel police said a stabbing terror attack occurred in the old city of Jerusalem. A civilian was lightly injured and transferred for medical treatment. The attacker fled the scene but was later arrested by police in the Temple Mount complex. Later today, an Israeli border police officer was critically injured when he and fellow officers boarded a bus at a security checkpoint in the West Bank for a routine questioning of passengers. A 13-year-old Palestinian passenger pulled out a knife and stabbed the officer. Another officer opened fire at the suspect. The injured officer was apparently accidentally also hit by the gunfire and was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He later died of his injuries. Well, a child who was severely injured in the terror attack Friday in Jerusalem has died. 8-year-old Asher Menachem Paley suffered critical wounds when an Arab-Israeli driver deliberately ran into a group of people waiting at a bus stop at the Ramot Junction in Jerusalem, where, as we reported to you, his younger brother, 6-year-old Yaakov Yisrael Paley, was killed, as was 20-year-old Alter Shlomo Lederman. Asher was taken to the hospital where doctors fought for his life, but he succumbed to his wounds on Saturday. Israel's President Isaac Herzog addressed the Israeli public last night about the judicial overhaul planned by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's new government, urging calm and calling on all sides to refrain from any violence. Herzog laid out a 5-point plan to find compromise on the issue, cited by the Times of Israel as saying we can reach a broad compromise which will put the good of Israel's citizens above any dispute. It is possible. Today, tens of thousands of Israelis rallied outside the Knesset in Jerusalem to protest the planned judicial overhaul. They came from across the country, from across Israeli society, young and old, religious and secular, estimated to have reached as many as 100,000 people. Other protests, though smaller, took place in other parts of Israel as well. Former Prime Minister Yair Lapid and former Defense Minister Benny Gantz took part in the massive Jerusalem rally and addressed the crowd. Lapid also shared video from a large group singing Israel's national anthem, Hatikva, the Hope, waving Israeli flags. He tweeted a line from the anthem, Am Chofshi Be'artzeinu, a free people in our country. Justice Minister Yariv Levin and others behind the judicial reforms reached out to Lapid and Gantz to meet at Herzog's residence, reportedly, to discuss a compromise on the measures. But Lapid is said to have rejected that offer, saying that halting the legislation was a precondition for compromise talks, something the president, he said, also called for. Regarding opposition to the reforms, Netanyahu maintains the measures will ensure, not dismantle democracy, and he tweeted a clip which he said shows demonstrators calling him a traitor. He tweeted, I call on the leaders of the opposition, stop it. Stop deliberately denigrating the country into anarchy. Take care of yourselves, show responsibility and leadership. The IDF's humanitarian aid delegation concluded its search and rescue efforts in Turkey today and returned to Israel with an official welcome home ceremony with the participation of Prime Minister Netanyahu. Speakers included the Turkish ambassador to Israel, Sakir Özkan Toranlor, who expressed his gratitude to Israel, its citizens, organizations, and the IDF for its humanitarian efforts, presenting tulips, Turkey's national flower, to Colonel Golan Vach, who led the efforts.
Thank you very much, Israel. And with your permission, I would like to present this bouquet of tulips, which is the national flower of Turkey, to Lieutenant Colonel Golan.
The IDF search and rescue humanitarian delegation has been on the ground in Turkey since soon after the devastating quakes hit the area a week ago and rescued a total of 19 Turkish civilians, including several children. The IDF's medical team is staying on in Turkey to treat the many injured. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, February the 13th. At 7 o'clock, childhood friend of Bob Dylan, Louie Kemp, talks about growing up Jewish and attending Jewish summer camp with the iconic singer. At 8, Shahar Azani speaks with Yoel Zilberman about his movement, which defends agricultural lands against crime and promotes values of Zionism. At 8:30, we hear from Dana Modan, creator, writer, and star of Significant Other. At 9, Dr. Aaron Ben-Ze'ev discusses the psychology of love on L'chaim. At 10, Rabbi Harold Kushner speaks with the late Rabbi Rachel Cowan on what it means to live a good life. And coming up next, I speak with journalists Malina Saval and David Suissa about the new Netflix movie, You People, which explores Jewish-Black relations. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, February the 13th, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.